We're big fans of Leupold's Mark V HD lineups of scopes. In this video, we're going to dig deep into the 5 to 25 by 56. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. I was just hanging out with John Kyle Truitt, the owner of Foundation Stocks. He's a huge PRS shooter. He was running this scope, the Leupold Mark V HD 5 to 25 by 56. And I happened to have one on the shelf that I was waiting to review. I thought this is the time. We just got this rifle out of the box. This is Bergare's B14 Squared Crest in the highly anticipated 7mm PRC. And I thought, well, hey, we're going to stretch this baby's legs out to some pretty far distances. So this scope felt like the right solution to that. We're going to go in depth on this scope in this video and show it on that rifle. Let's get this baby out of the box and see what we've got. Okay, hood, I'm liking that already. We shoot into the sun a lot here, so that's actually really practical to have a hood. There is that guy. Now, one thing to note about this particular scope is that it uses 35mm rings. So we're going to need, and we have right here, some medium 35mm rings. And those should go really well with this scope. Oh yeah, got to finish my unboxing here. We've got some written materials. We've got our Leupold sticker. Might want to put that in the back window of our truck. We even have the scope turret adjustment Allen key. How nice is that? Okay, give me a sec to pretty this up, and then we'll transition into installing the scope on the rifle. Okay, I'm back. I've had a chance to have some hands-on time with the Mark V HD 5 to 25 by 56. And based on my previous experiences, I had high hopes. This thing has stood up to the test. What I have here is the new chambering that's available in the Bergare B14 Squared Crest. I did a story on the 308 model a year ago, and the number one piece of feedback was, give it to us in 7mm PRC. Here it is, and this thing has absolutely hammered with this scope. Okay, before I talk about the shooting, however, let's talk about the scope install. First off, you do need your 35mm rings. That's something that is common across the Mark V HD lineup. That's the tube diameter. So I put my ring bases down in an approximate spacing. I pushed forward on them and hand tightened them, dropped the scope tube on, looked at my eye relief. I liked what I saw, so I torqued the bases down to 65 inch-pounds, put the tube back in place, finger tightened the screws on the caps, double checked that I liked my eye relief, and then very carefully ensured proper ring to ring base gap on both sides and torqued to the specified torque specification. Leupold provides that in their materials, of course, and I always am careful to follow that because some scope components can't handle the same torque as others, and you don't want to over or under torque them. On this particular rifle, with the 20 MOA rail that the rifle came with, I've got just enough objective and sun hood clearance here with the barrel, so it sits nicely on the rifle. It's a little low. I don't have a cheek riser, so that actually worked out pretty well. Okay, the rifle is amazing. So I was really surprised with the factory lightweight Magnum rifle to get groups in the .560 range. Two different groups. They were less than 10 thousandths apart. It echoes the same exact group size that I got a year ago with the 308 Bergare Crest. Really, really good stuff. And I'll tell you what, I've gotten spoiled with good optics. The Mark V HD is an example of that. The integrated throw lever. It's just big enough. It's not too big. Really clear glass. Great reticle, superstar turret. This turret is called the M5C3, and that's the one that you're going to find on all of these scopes. What I really like about it is the fact that it's really easy to change your zero. You just loosen a couple of screws here, pull it up, and then reset it. And when you lock it down, your zero stop is automatically updated for that position. It'll stop. And then also you can go down just a little bit. So you're going to dial up by pushing in the button. You can tell where you're at in revolutions, because once you go past the first turn, it goes flush. And then once you go past the second turn, it actually recesses. A really cool design, really easy to reset zero with, and that added flexibility. The tactile feedback on the number of turns and the ability to go down just a little bit. Totally love it. Really high quality, made in USA components. All of the markings are spot on. The fit and the finish is absolutely superb. And when you look through the scope, the results kind of speak for themselves. Really, really good stuff. Okay, so we not only did the shooting at 100 yards, that was to get kind of a handle on how accurate this rifle was going to be and to get a really good zero. I put on the Banish 30 from Silencer Central. That worked really good on this rifle. I wanted to really show my long-range hunting type of setup. Not skimping on a tactical scope. 7mm PRC, totally awesome. I've even got the MDT lightweight double pole SkyPod here. I'm not going to compromise on those long-range shots. When I was in Africa this summer, South Africa, I shot a Kudu at 680 yards. It was a prone shot. I would not have taken it otherwise. This is the kind of rifle where I would feel confident with that shot in the right conditions, had I practiced sufficiently and was very confident with my load and the performance of the rifle, and so on and so forth. So this is a super awesome big game hunting rig. Not really what this scope is intended for. I was just talking with John Kyle Truitt, the owner of Foundation Stocks. He runs this exact scope in competition, right? PRS matches. And Foundation Stocks are actually the winningest stock in the PRS right now. So huge respect for John Kyle and all of the other shooters in his circles that are running similar equipment. So would I recommend this scope for PRS over the 7-35? You honestly could go either way. I think this scope has plenty of magnification, and it's got all of the features that I'm looking for in a scope for that kind of thing. So really you can take this scope either direction, you know, the competitive route, the hunting route, long range, general, having fun shooting route. It's really good for all of those, and you know that you're dealing with a company that's going to stand by their product. Okay, so that kind of covers our shooting. Also did a little bit of positional shooting with this, and just like normal, it performed really, really well. Okay, so to review the specs, this scope has 5-25 magnification, 35mm tube, 0.1 mil clicks. I prefer mils myself. It's just kind of my native units for scopes. It's first focal plane, so the advantage is your holdovers are going to be accurate regardless of your magnification. Downside is if you mag down to a lower magnification, you're not going to see the scope reticle quite as well, and that's just inherent to all first focal plane versus second focal plane trade-offs. HD glass, M5C3 turret and zero lock like I had talked about. Side focus, really, really good knobs on these too, by the way. The way that they grip when you hold them is very, very secure. Waterproof, fog-proof, shock-proof, and 30-ounce weight. And if you want kind of more background information, I have a two-part series on this 7-35 that goes in a little bit more depth in terms of kind of the platform. Okay, let's talk about the Ultimate Reloader Optics Test Rig. We call it the OTR internally here. This is essentially a high-precision, fully custom digiscoping rig that I built personally myself with my machine shop equipment. It enables you to quantify things like tracking. Is the tracking accurate when you go to a particular dial? Does it reset to zero? Parallax. If we dial the scope, the side focus to the appropriate yardage, and we move the camera side to side, we can move it 1/1000th of an inch. It's a very, very precision-oriented rig. Do you get shift, right? The whole idea of a parallax adjustment is two things. One is focus, is the target that you're acquiring, is it in focus? And then second, can you move your eye side to side and up and down and not have the point of aim shift, right? This is a super critical thing for precision shooting. Okay, so the first test was the tracking test. And here we go up 3 mils, we go down 3 mils, we go to the left 3 mils, and we go to the right 3 mils. This is just kind of a standard test that's going to tell you how accurately will the scope track based on what you're dialing. And what we saw here was things were very close. We had a little bit of mirage when we were shooting. You could actually, if you looked at high magnification, see the scope reticle move just very slightly with respect to the target with nothing touched. So as far as we can tell, everything is dead on with tracking, which is awesome. Okay, then the parallax test. We move the camera 50 thousandths of an inch to the left and then 50 thousandths of an inch to the right. And this is where we're looking for that point of aim to stay constant. I looked at high magnification here. It didn't budge even a thousandth of a mil. I mean, it was like dead steady. And that's just going to help you shoot tighter groups and stay on target that much better. Okay, image distortion, very excellent results here. What we're looking at is a perfect square and whether or not the target has any pin cushion effect in either way. And that just has to do with how much image distortion there is when you look through. And as you can see here, it's very, very straight along both sides. So really good performance with regard to image distortion. I should note here, this is not an optics quality test. Anytime you take a camera and you look through a scope, there's a huge degradation of quality with what you'll see compared to looking through with the naked eye. It's a problem that we're trying to work on. It's a problem that we haven't solved. I haven't heard of anyone else solving it either. So that's just, it's kind of an ongoing thing that we're continuing to look at and haven't found a good way to express other than qualitative. Like I said, it looks awesome when you look through the scope. So overall, extremely happy with these scopes. Again, they're right at the top of my recommendation list for people that either want to do precision hunting or shoot in a match or anything kind of related to that. Great company to deal with, made in the USA, really, really good stuff. So that concludes our overview of the Leupold Mark V HD 5-25 by 56. What I'd like to know from you is, are you running a Mark V HD? Which one are you running? How do you like it? And what are you using it for? Drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.